All right. Everyone keeps asking me what my thoughts and opinions are about Albion coming to Europe. Literally, while starting this video, someone new came in and asked, will you try EU? So, there's that. So I'm going to go over my thoughts real quick so I can point everyone to exactly what I feel about this. So I wanted to do all of my thoughts in one concise little video so that people can just get it from here, because I don't want to repeat myself 100 times a day. Basically, I have a lot of thoughts on the patch, and some positive, some negative. I have some positive and some negative regarding the server. My initial reaction was immediate shock of like, wait, what? And then about 20 seconds into me processing the information, I was like, my brain was like, this seems like it's about money, which is, I think, the sentiment that most of the community has, is they're seeing this as a, potential, the company wants money. So, at the bottom line, the reason for the server, I think, first and foremost, is probably profit margins. I'm not a fan of that. Obviously, I don't think anyone really is. It definitely, the only real positives okay. So the negatives are obviously we're splitting NA and EU. Those two communities are obviously very intertwined. The ping difference doesn't really make a massive difference. I see people all over, like with various different things, like finally I get low ping. NA is going to suffer when they come over here for the fresh start. There is a reason that, like, the game was designed with high ping in mind. Historically, the best team, the best players in this game, when there was GVGs, the most highly competitive piece of content this game ever has offered, the champions of that every single season were from EU, right? So regardless if the server was in NA, even at the highest level of competition, EU still dominated that space, right? Just they were more skilled than the NA teams, right? So I mean, sure, having a bit of a lower ping, like minusing your ping by 50, if you're playing on 120 or 130, having a ping of 60 is nice, but the feeling is almost not there. I've replicated this with using VPNs. It's not really that big of a difference. So the requirement for EU to have lower ping is really not relevant. When the server launches, I'm going to play on there. I've played on the East a little bit. The ping is playable. Doesn't feel great at 250 ping, but at 100 ping or 120 ping, you won't notice it almost at all. There's plenty of people playing from EU that get, 90 ping on the NA server. There is very little impact there. Now, is it nice to have lower ping? Sure. Is it okay to be excited if you live in Europe to have lower ping? Absolutely. So, like, I don't hate on anyone for being excited to have a lower ping. There's a bonus there. Okay. Now, we are getting, right now, the NA server split into two. If you look at the population of the NA server, I think it's clear to say that more of Europe plays on the NA server than NA does. The NA timers are quieter than the EU timers. There's just more of a population. Late night NA is very quiet. So ripping the EU population onto the EU server is going to make the NA server feel potentially very dead. Now, will it recover in time? Maybe. Over a long period of time, 6 months to a year or more, NA might pick back up, but I think it's going to be very quiet on NA when this server launches. And that is one of the reasons why, if I'm playing Albion at the time, I'm going to be playing on Europe, because it's going to be a fresh start and exciting. That is another bonus to the Europe server, is that it's a fresh start. You can't transfer. It's going to be everyone starting at 0, and we're going to be competing with a bunch of flat 4 gear. That's very fun. Sounds fun. That is also tainted a little bit by the FOMO packs that they're releasing. There are founder packs that you're going to be able to purchase to get in 5 days early, which isn't great. I think everyone, does not like that exists, period. Obviously, it is very pay to win to jump on the server early. My favorite way this was put is the pay to win fiscal boosting content pack that you can purchase. And that is pretty much what it feels like. It looks like they're looking to raise margins, raise stocks, or whatever. So they're offering a very pay to win advantage for jumping into the server early, right? That's my genuine thoughts on that matter. You can get into the server 5 days early, but like that is absolutely not putting the players gameplay in mind or playing fairness in mind, it's putting money first. I think a lot of this new server creation is, seeing, or maybe the company that owns SPI, seeing what money was made via eServer and then going, we're going to need you to do that again, right? There's some positives and negatives. Obviously, I keep repeating that, but the positives, generally put, or concisely put, is new server fun because it's fresh. EU players get low ping, which is nice for EU players, and that's pretty much it, right? Even NA players can go over and have a good time, or people further in the East can go over and have a good time. So the EU server is probably going to be pretty poppin' when it releases. The other servers will likely recover in time, but they they will receive a hit to their population, especially NA. NA is going to take a big hit in population. And then the negatives is this really wasn't necessary. It's definitely going to have a lot of negative impact on the one world, one of the big selling points of Albion. And it's definitely money driven for sure. I don't think anyone can really deny that. I don't think anyone is denying that. I think it is definitely a money-based decision that was not necessary. Are there other ways to solve this problem of some players having higher ping or lower ping? 100%. Are there too many players on the West server right now? No, there's not. It's not overcrowded. Timers are kind of slow. I cover the action and I see it on our own timers. It's not exactly crazy packed every day. Things aren't getting cluster queued every day. The server population isn't really all that insane. So saying that you need to split that is kind of crazy. And then, yeah, the server is going to feel very empty. Like everyone's talking about it. So, I think that about sums it up. They did release, what we have. What is this? Why does it say, founder packs go on sale in 3 days? Of course, that's what the website's for. Let's move on. I thought that was a countdown to the server. It's not. We don't know when the server launches exactly. But Robin Hankes did release some information, frequently asked questions, population activity concerns. I don't know exactly what they're doing to address this, but they are looking at revisiting old content. Hopefully they fix some of the old content that sucks. They do have a forum post here for people to post their thoughts and concerns on the matter. I obviously took the opportunity, as I have with probably 100 other opportunities in the past, to bitch about Hellgates and the Roads of Avalon. I plastered it here because why wouldn't I? I want that content back. It blows. So yeah, if you are unhappy with some content, this is maybe a good place to do it. But the other things that were talked about were character transfer wishes. People are asking to have their characters transferred to the EU server. That to me is insane. There's so many negatives going on with this EU server, splitting of our population, splitting up of guilds and alliances, completely demolishing these things, that removing the only silver lining of it being an exciting fresh start experience is insane to me. They are talking about letting people transfer their characters after 18 months, which really I wouldn't say under a year, because having a maxed out account on the main server and then bringing it over to a fresh server gives you a massive advantage. I don't think they're intending this change to be like, hey, just wait 18 months and you can bring your character over. This would be allowing your character to go over after 18 months of the server existing would be more for people coming back to the game in a year and a half and going, oh, I want to play Albion again, but I used to play on the West server, but I'm from EU and there's an EU server now, but I don't want to restart. They can just go, oh, I can transfer my character across, right? Now, I don't know if they're going to charge money for you to transfer your character, but that might also just be in the business plan. I don't know. Let's move on though. Skin unlocks. People are upset that they've bought skins on other things and they won't have them on the new server. I agree with these people. They're complaining because they've spent money on a product in a game and they're going to be starting on a server where they won't have that product and they'd have to rebuy it. That's ridiculous. You should definitely have your skins on the new server if you've purchased them. They're talking about achievement skins not being granted over like crystal arena skins or guild season rewards. So that's good. They're looking to change that because on eServer you weren't able to bring them over at all. And honestly, that is once again, money-driven decision. It's not a fairness to the player decision or fairness to the customer, really is the better way to put this, because it's really a product that's been purchased and then it's being ripped from you and saying, you don't have it anymore, play on this server. So I hope that they don't do that. And I hope that they give us skins that we've rightfully purchased Right. But let's move on to the last bit here, prime times. So they are reworking the prime times. This is a major concern for a lot of people that, you know, the West server currently has horrible prime times, which include East server. And if Europe is leaving, including a lot of Europe would be silly. So they're reworking the prime times to sort of, you know, rebalance that. I do have a complaint with this because if you look at this, like, I'm not included in this prime time. I'm from NA. I play a little bit late night. Sometimes I get on at midnight. Sometimes I get on, you know, that's not that late. And I'm on East Coast. If I lived in the West Coast, your prime time is ending at, what is this? 8 p.m.? Is that the last prime time for the West Coast? Is that right? This is midnight, my time. This is 11 p.m. my time. This is 8 p.m. on the West Coast. The final timer is 8 p.m. on the West Coast. So, like, what's going on there? Like bump that down a little bit. Like, I like playing late night on the East. Like, have they even looked at what time it is? Because like these are Europe timers, which I think they should still probably keep some European timers, right? But like not having NA timers, it's supposed to be the NA server. It should span out over the NA prime time, which realistically the NA prime time probably starts at around 5 p.m. my time. I'm on the East Coast. That's like 3 p.m. In the afternoon. No, it'd be 2 p.m. in the afternoon on the West Coast. So that's roughly 2100 over here. This should be like the earliest timer for NA. And then the latest timer should be somewhere like 7 UTC for the late night crew, right? Because, dude, let's face it, gamers play past 8 p.m., right? That's silly. Like, I don't know what's going on here. This is 8 p.m. on the West Coast. And honestly, some people play into the morning, 2 a.m. Man, when I was younger, even like 17, 18, I was staying up till 1, 2 in the morning sometimes. You know, like that's just what time we play. I don't know. I'm barely done with work by 7, 8. Yeah, exactly. So like what's up with these timers? This is bad. If you want to include some EU timers, that's okay. Like you can keep the start time here, fine, but this should extend later on. And the balance should be heat mapped for this area here. And it should dip very little into here. And, you know, like some territory, like very few territories should dip later and very few territories should dip earlier. And that would be solid timer. But right now, this is looking silly to me. That is not built for an NA player base. I think that's it. I think that's all my thoughts on everything they've announced so far with the EU server. Pretty much my plan right now is if I am playing Albion, if there's no other big game that's catching my eye, I will be on the EU server because that's where the action's going to be. It'll be fun to maybe start with a small group and try and really like just race other people, actually compete with, you know, low tier gear. It sounds fun. Sounds like a different experience for a bit. And the population's probably going to be massive. So the portal zones are going to be wild and whatnot. I don't think ping is going to deter any NA player from actually playing over there. So, well, maybe West Coast, but East Coast players will be able to play on EU just fine. So it should be interesting, but that's pretty much everything. I don't think there's anything else to it, but guys, if you enjoyed the video, you know what to do. Give it a like. I'd appreciate it. But thank you for watching, and we'll see you around.